Hi everyone! Today we're going to be learning about vegetables, and specifically vegetables that we eat that are also a stem. So let's talk about some vegetables that are a stem so you can learn what a stem is. So the first one, and one of my favorites, is asparagus. So if anyone eats asparagus, can you raise your hand? Awesome, hands down. Okay, my next vegetable that's a stem is rhubarb. Rhubarb is one of my favorites because a lot of times we eat rhubarb in a pie or in a muffin because rhubarb is really sour. And so I really like rhubarb in muffins or pies. Okay, the next stem is one that you have in your bag today. So the next stem is celery. So celery is really good with peanut butter and raisins on the top of it. If you guys ever eat celery plain or with peanut butter, raise your hand. Cool. Okay, so the reason these plants are stems is because the stem is the part of the plant that transports water. So water is sucked up through the roots and it goes all the way up the plant to the leaves. Now this is important to remember because the activity that you're going to do today at the end of the day, you'll need to know this for. Now, before we move on to our story, I have a couple more plants that we don't eat just the stem of, but we eat all of the plant, including the stem. So, broccoli. If you like broccoli, raise your hand. Awesome. So, broccoli is actually a flower, and the part of the broccoli that has these little bulbs, that's the flower. This is the stem. So if you eat this part of the broccoli, you're eating the stem. Okay, next is kale. So kale stems are down here. And if you pick kale when it's really little, then you can eat the stems because they will still be soft. Okay, and the last one I have for you is lettuce. So lettuce stems are almost part of the leaf. And so whenever you're eating lettuce, you're also eating the stem. Okay? So now what we're going to do today is we are going to read a book that's called The Surprise Garden. Do any of you grow a garden at your house or a grandparent's house or a friend's house that you get to help with? If you do, can you raise both hands and wave at me? Yay! Okay, hands together and down. We have a garden at our house, and my favorite thing to grow is green beans, but that's not a stem. Okay, here we go. This says, we're planting the seeds for a surprise garden. Can you guess what we will grow? First, we will use our trowel and rake to loosen the soil. We don't know. It's a surprise. Mom has given us each a handful of all kinds of seeds. Look at all the different shapes and sizes. We poke the seeds into the soil one by one. We have painted sticks different colors to mark the different kinds of seeds. Look, even the dog's helping. Then we water the seeds and wait for our surprise garden to grow. Soon the seeds sprout into small green shoots. Can everybody look at this page and see how the small green shoots all look a little bit different? That's because they're all different plants growing. We water the plants and the sun warms them. Our garden grows and grows and grows. On some plants, flowers bloom. Before long, the petals fall off. Surprise! We see peas, beans, and squash. On some plants, leaves grow close to the ground. Surprise! We see spinach and lettuce. And what is growing here? Surprise! We see broccoli and cauliflower. Is anything growing here? Surprise! We find carrots and radishes. They are growing under the ground. Here is the longest plant in our garden. Flowers bloomed on this plant too. Surprise! We find a big watermelon. Have any of you grown watermelon in your garden? Raise your hand if yes. Ooh, all right, hands down. Here is the tallest plant in our garden. Surprise! It's a sunflower, and it is full of tasty seeds. All summer long, the food in our surprise garden ripens. We like to pick the food. And eat it too. Surprise! We're having a garden party. Yum. If you guys think their garden party looks delicious, can you wave both hands at me? Yum, yum. Ooh, here's a nice big list of all the things they grew in their surprise garden. So if you look, it says peas, beans, spinach, lettuce, broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, radishes, squash, watermelon, and sunflowers. Awesome! I love growing a garden because I like to go out and munch on things as they're growing. Alright guys, so today in your bags you have 3 cups and you each have 3 baggies, and in the baggies there's some colorful water. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take your cup and you're going to open your bag of water and you're going to pour all of the color into your cup. Okay, and if you need help from a grown-up with this, then make sure you ask for help. And then you are going to take one of your stalks of celery and you're going to put it in your cup. Okay? So you're going to set it in your cup and then you're going to put about this much water in your cup with the bottom of the celery. Okay, so maybe like a finger length. All right, don't put too much. Okay, and then you're going to do that for all 3 pieces of celery. And then you're going to set that aside. So these 3 pieces of celery don't need to be in a windowsill and they don't really need to be in anywhere sunny because they're not going to grow. They're going to do something else. And next month when I see you, you're going to have to make sure to tell your teacher, or next week when you see your teacher, you're going to have to make sure to let them know what happened to your celery because of that colorful water. So the very last thing I have for you in your bag is I wanted to make sure to show you guys your garden maze sheet, which is really cool. And I want you to make sure you have a grown-up read this It says, help the rabbit find the best path through the garden to get where the carrots are planted. Look for the bees and ladybugs in the garden and circle them. So make sure you circle the bees and ladybugs. Okay, there are a couple more things in this packet I wanted to show you really quick. You have a coloring sheet, so you guys can color celery. Maybe celery is green for you. Maybe celery is a different fun color. It's all up to you. On the back of your celery sheet, there's a recipe. This recipe is for a tuna veggie melt. So if you like tuna sandwiches, you will probably like this recipe. And I picked this because this recipe has celery in it. Okay. And last thing I gave you is this sheet about leafy greens. And the reason I gave you this about leafy greens is because remember, we eat the stems of leafy greens as we eat them. And then on the back, there are even more recipes that you could make if you wanted to. Okay, there's greens with carrots and pasta with greens and beans. All right. So I hope you guys have fun making your recipes with your family if you choose to, and I hope you have fun seeing what your celery does in your colored water. Okay, bye.